Well, hello, Kindred Spirits. Thank you for joining me yet again on this Sunday. And if you're new, welcome to New England Fine Living. In this video, we're going to go to a few thrift and antique stores that I stopped at last Saturday on my way back from Maine. Some of you might remember that I went to my daughter's new cabin that they purchased as a weekend retreat. It's off the grid, and I had a very cozy stay in one of their little bunkhouses on the property. I went out with a purpose of looking for things for Thanksgiving to decorate, and I'm thinking turkeys and pheasants, but I do not mean these turkeys. There are plenty of these. So we're going to stop at a few thrift and antique stores, but first I'm stopping in North Conway. I'm going to pick up a sweet treat to bring home and wait until you see this magical little bakery that makes amazing cupcakes. This is my first visit to the shop, and as soon as I walked in, Hocus Pocus was playing on a screen in the background, and the decor was just so magically charming. The cupcakes, as I got closer, I saw they were named after characters and places inspired by Hocus Pocus. After visiting a few other shops on the main strip, I headed over to Valley Artisans and Vintage Market in Conway. At this moment, I'd also like to mention that most of the shops I'm going to show you, they said they will ship small items. So if you see something, please contact them directly because I don't have any information on things that you're seeing here in the video. And I realize I'm panning around these shops fairly quickly, but keep in mind, I had a 3-hour drive home, and it actually took me close to 7 hours to get home because there are shops all along the route that I took, and you need to stop at thrift stores and antiques when you have time, right? I'm going to openly admit I had a very, very hard time leaving these plates behind and this beautiful little tureen. A really hard time. The same goes for these pewter mugs. Other than the wild turkeys, here's the first spotting of the day. And I'm going to show you these little candles, the pilgrim candles. I remember having those exact ones as a little girl. I love the nostalgia of going into thrift stores and antique stores. Next stop, I literally had to go and turn around. I saw this as I was passing by Thistle and Twine in Albany, New Hampshire. This shop is 3 weeks new. It was an antique store for 20 years prior to the new owner taking over. And what caught my eye is not this cute little one. His name is Batman. You'll see him later. But on the porch, she made some chicken wire balls and she covered them with lights. And as I was there, she was measuring to hang some Christmas screens. I'm going to take you inside, but this is the shop. I found 2 vintage prints of pheasants. I can't wait to show you. I have them here at my home. I knew they would be perfect for the library as soon as I saw them, and that's probably why I stopped filming. I'm really surprised I don't have a video of them in her shop, but once again, as soon as I saw them, I fell in love. I knew they'd be perfect for Sugarwood, and I asked her the price, and it was love at first sight. And once again, I will show you that in a moment, but here's a little bit more of the shop. And this is the room the pheasant prints were in. And once again, I can't believe I didn't get a video of that because I have every other wall except for the wall they were on. But that's okay, you'll see them in my home. Now, I've had my share of Kindred Spirits reaching out, asking where I got my brass pheasants. Now, mine are a little different, but here's a pair right here. I didn't happen to look at the price, but you might want to give them a call if you're looking. And here's a little surprise for myself. I didn't realize I did get the pheasants in the video. When I was doing a quick edit, I didn't see it. So here they are. You're going to see them in my home too, but they're a beautiful size. I loved the quality, and I don't have to do anything to them. A little further down the road, I am now going to be visiting New Hampshire Country Store in Shakora, New Hampshire. One thing I truly appreciate as I travel around New England are these little independent shops that really look like they are trapped in time. It's a moment that I can just get out of the stress of the world. Now, this piece almost came home with me. I mentioned in a past video that I'm thinking about building my black and white transferware collection, but upon inspection, I did find that there was quite a good sized crack in it, and I use my pieces for functional serving purposes, not just for display. If I wanted a display piece, the price was perfect and I would have purchased it. And here's another pheasant piece. I'll give you a little hint. It's in my kitchen right now, and I will show you more of that also later. I'm back on the road, and I came across what I believe is a wedding function site, and across the street, and there was a wedding going on, so I had to be a little bit conscious of their privacy. Look at the mountain range here. Beautiful. And I almost thought the whole drive home was going to be this backcountry road. Unfortunately, I ended up on the highway for well over an hour, which I don't like highways, but this was worth it. And during my travels, I have seen a lot of small post offices. Check out this tiny one in South Tamworth, New Hampshire. Adorable. Now at this point, I still had about 2.5 hours ahead of me as a drive, and I wanted to get home before it started getting dark, but once again, I found another antique store, Windsor Antiques, and this is in Moultonborough, New Hampshire. And I had already passed a couple others I wanted to stop in, but I really wanted to get closer to home, not knowing how fast the nightfall would come. And I already knew I was going to order food to pick up on the way home. So I also wanted to get closer so that I knew the little cafe we were going to be shopping at was still open. I picked this piece up several times and put it down several times. It's Department 56, and I realized it's probably too small for what I wanted. Also, I could have made it into a haunted hayride. Now I'm wishing I got it. But these canisters, beautiful fall Thanksgiving feel, but I don't have the space for them. In the background, I really didn't focus on it at the time, but there's a basket of beaded fruit there. I did grab that, and I will show you that later as well. Hello? Yeah, no one's there. Crank phone call. Do you remember when you can make crank phone calls without caller ID? I do. Truth be told, one of my favorites was calling zoos and asking for Mr. Lion. I know, the things kids will do. Here's another pheasant or quail, but the colors wouldn't be right for my home. One thing I am looking for is a carriage for Sugarwood's front yard, whether it's seasonal or year-round. We love the photo of the previous owners in front of the house with their carriage. It represents the carriage we found out in the woods, and it would represent the carriage we have on the labels of Sugarwood 1790. 28 degrees, but the clocks have changed. 6 o'clock, and just coming out here, I've noticed all of the pears have fallen. Not all, but I'm gonna come out here in a while and just grab these. Don't know if I'll do anything with them or not. Brr. It's hard to tell now, but I did come out here and trim all of the beauty bushes. And inside one of them, I think I just showed you a little bird's nest way up in a tree. There's also one right here. They were nice and cozy in this tree. Speaking of trees, you will see a little bit later a big change that will be happening this week at Sugarwood. But now, time for those cupcakes I brought home. And yes, I may have selected these plates to match the color of the cupcakes. That's what I do. I'm bringing this one to Ben, who's sitting by the fire already with his coffee. And soon after, once we finished our morning coffee, I decided it was time to carry the Thanksgiving tree in from the porch that we brought in last week. Now, I left the lights on it for the first time, and I thought it was going to be as simple as plugging it in, but you're going to see that even though I buy lights that say if one goes out, the others remain lit, yes, that did not happen in this situation because I plugged them in. Some worked, some didn't. So I ended up having to go out and buy some more lights, and I'm not sure if I'll show that in this video or next, but I did collect some things outside to use in the tree. And you may notice the chandelier swinging slightly. It's not a ghost. I hit it with my head lighting the candles. That's what I do. Sometimes all it takes is a little wiggle of the lights, but I did find a couple that were burnt out, so I'm going to change them all out. But like I said, all it takes is a little wiggle. Oh, see? This is the point I officially gave up and realized I'm just going to have to start over. Now I'm going to look at the limelight hydrangeas that have passed and the panicle hydrangeas that have passed. But I hear something in the background. I'm pretty sure it's been working over by the wood pile, and I know there's something over there that I do want to collect. I don't know if I'm going to use it on the Thanksgiving tree or for another little project, but let's head over there. Now this isn't what I talked about, a tree project coming up, but this is all something that we are going to stack in the woodshed and have it ready for next year. But I wanted to check out the silver dollar plants that self-seed, and they come up every year. Unfortunately, they're a little worse for wear because I didn't pick them in time. We've had snow, we've had rain, but I think I can collect some, and I was going to tuck them in the tree, but I decided I'm going to do just a little arrangement with my brown and white transferware. Well, here are the two prints. I haven't even cleaned them up yet. I still need to do that, but I wanted to show you here so you could get an idea of the size they are. And I love them. This one has the little babies and male and female. I have so many things in this house that are male and female couples. I don't know, I started doing that a long time ago unintentionally, and I keep finding that I gravitate towards it. So I'm gonna clean these up, and they'll most likely be hung in the library, but the colors are perfect for every single room in the house. These are Sugarwood's colors. Another thing that I purchased while out, I keep collecting the New England cookbooks, and I actually put it here on the mantle right now because the colors are perfect. So I'm looking forward to going through some of these. I even marked a page already for a boiled dinner. And this mantle I might do over before Thanksgiving. I'm slowly gonna transition for some Christmas at that point because some of the family members won't be here for the holidays. So I might do a little bit of both. I'm gonna put the lights on the tree a little bit later today. I did get those. And I'm gonna show you a couple other things I did pick up. Now, I did show you that I got this plate while I was out and about. And now that I have it home, I don't know, the green might be a little bit too bright for me. But right now, it's a keeper. Might be for sale next year, I don't know. But I like all of the different pictures around the edge here. It's very pretty. Like I said, this is, let's see, this is Wedgwood. I haven't even researched it yet. You know, the colors are probably perfect. Could even for another room. This is just a weird close-up because I have a messy counter, but I picked up some of this greenery at Hobby Lobby. This is something I'm looking at carrying next year. I did buy some last year to sell in the shop, but it was very big and heavy, and I did use it in the house. So I liked how petite this was and how fluid in movement it was, so I'm gonna give that a try. It was 50% off, and I'm actually thinking of going back to get more because I do like the size and how realistic it is. A couple other things I wanna show you. So I mentioned in the video about the basket of fruit. This was marked $6, the basket. And I carried this up to the counter and I asked, well, how much is the fruit? He called the vendor and the basket with the fruit was $6. I'm like, sold, because I wanted the beaded fruit that's in here for either mantel decor, using in the Thanksgiving tree. And there's also, let's go over here for something. I didn't notice this until last night. Well, it's not as purpley, but in the photo here, where I always have the Thanksgiving tree, there's a purple, is that an apple, plum? It's right there. But this year, like I said, I'm putting the tree, I think, in that far corner, just so that I have more space for company. I might move it, I don't know. So that basket of fruit was $6. And then I got this sign at another consignment store, a Merry Christmas. I really liked the black and the gold. And some of you who have ordered from me lately may have noticed that I'm now using the gold tissue paper, and we have the black boxes for a lot of it, and my black card insert has raised gold, and I just loved this look. So this might go over the kitchen sink, I'm not sure. And I also have this wreath. I opened up a page to a book and realized I already had this wreath. I bought 2 of them at Twin Elm in Peterborough, and now I actually realized that one of my vendors sells them. So I might have these in stock next Christmas. I'm not sure yet, but I'm already thinking Christmas and decorating a little bit sooner than later. We're even gonna put candles in our windows tonight. This is a recipe I'm working on. It came out so good. I did write it down, but I want to make it again just to make sure it comes out the same way. And I first started out to make a potato and leek soup, and I realized I had a few mushrooms left and I had some celery, so I just started to create my own recipe. And that's one thing I like about cooking. You kind of can wing it, whereas baking you have to be more precise. Now what I used were 4 leeks, It was like 5 potatoes, smaller yellow potatoes. And with the leeks, they get very dirty. And you can clean these several ways, like slicing them down and pulling them apart, or rings, pulling them apart. I kept these so that the green at the top kind of held them together, and I fanned them open under the water and I rinsed them that way. And then I proceeded to chop them afterwards. And what you want to use is the light green part to the white, not the dark green. It gets very woody there. So here I have in the pan the potatoes, the leeks, the celery all chopped up, and I'm going to add some olive oil and salt, and I'm going to roast them in the oven. Now you're going to see in a moment I chopped and sauteed some mushroom and garlic separately. I probably could have put the mushrooms on this too, but I was afraid that this would take too long to roast and the mushrooms would just kind of like shrivel up and get crunchy, for lack of better words. So maybe next time I'll try them on the pan, but the extra little flavor was really nice. So all I'm going to do is mix this together, like I said, pop it in the oven. I put it in at 400 degrees, but I constantly made sure that I was turning them and making sure they weren't sticking and everything was getting cooked until the potatoes were nice and soft. And like I mentioned, I did put some mushroom in. I sauteed it. I'm going to try it in the roasting pan next time just to see if it works. If you know if it does or doesn't, please let me know below. I just put it in the Dutch oven here with some butter because I'm going to use this anyways, but I do put the mushrooms in a blender first. Now, with the Dutch oven, I just want to mention that we do sell these now through our online store, but just remember the store is closed for the holidays right now, but I'll reopen on, what day am I reopening? November 21st. And I'm adding a little garlic. I have a clove here that I'm adding. I'm not sure if I'll put this back in next time. I think it overwhelmed some of the other flavors. I really wanted to taste the leek and the potatoes and the mushroom. So next time I'm going to try it without that one clove. I'm going to head over to the stove, saute these, put it in the blender, and just wait until the roasted vegetables come out. And here they are. Now I went a few times back and forth with the roasted vegetables and chicken stock. I did it a few times and poured it into the Dutch oven, and it was so nice and creamy, but I'm not done with it yet. I'll have to go back to my handwritten notes. Like I said, I'll share this later once I really figure it out, but I ended up putting in, I think, about a half a cup of sour cream, and I put in some pepper, some salt, a little cayenne pepper, and that cayenne pepper really gave it a nice little bit of heat, and it came out creamy. You can do some half and half. You can do some cream if you'd like. I had sour cream in the house, and then all I did was serve it up in a bowl. I sprinkled a little Parmesan cheese on top, and it was great. Now the next day, it tasted even better. Wednesday was wedding dress day. And before I'm getting ready to leave, I just trying to get the house pulled together because I've been leaving lately and I come home to a mess that I've made and I'm starting to get annoyed with myself. I just wanted to share real quick that I am going to be hopping in the car in a minute and I'm bringing a box of tissues with me. The reason is I am going to see my future daughter-in-law try on some wedding dresses, and I know I'm gonna cry. I'm meeting her and her mother at a shop on the North Shore, and this is a company that I've worked with in the past, and I'll share a little bit more later. But I was running around the house trying to find my belt. I can't find it. The last time I wore this outfit together was in Martha's Vineyard for my birthday. So I found the skirt. I've always had the sweater, the boots, can't find my belt. And I've worn it just recently, so anyway, you don't need to know that. So I'm gonna hop in the car, we're gonna drive to the North Shore. I don't know if I'll be able to show you much, but I'll just show you the showroom at least. All right, let's get going. Well, I didn't film anything but the bride-to-be, but she found a dress, and at Bella Sarah Bridal, they have a little sign, it's a yes. So after that, we went out to lunch, we celebrated. That's one more thing off the checklist, and now it's on to some other items needed for the wedding. When I mentioned that I did something with Bella Sarah before, They actually had a photo shoot for their website and a magazine ad, and I was asked to be one of the women to wear some of their dresses. We were asked to bring our own shoes, and I love that my shoes matched the dress they chose for me. It was so much fun. Here we are, November 8th, and I'm sitting here for the first time in a while, writing in my journal. Now, the last time I wrote in the journal was on July 14th, and I was writing about the deer flies of all things. Now, I haven't really done anything because I like to write when we have some changes here at Sugarwood. And the title of this page is Let's Skip to November, Shall We? Now, not much has happened here at Sugarwood over the last few months, other than a little cleaning around the yard, but that is about to change in just a couple of days. I do want to mention before I forget that on October 28th, we had a beautiful dusting of snow that covered the ground. And several days later, November 6th, it was in the 80s. It's a New England thing. So here's what's happening that I journaled about this morning. All of these tall pines, these are coming down starting on Monday. One, they are in reach of where the barn's gonna go, which is this whole area right here. And two, they're also preventing the hardwood from growing. I have photos from about 50 years ago. These weren't here. These are all self-seeded and just taking over. So once these are open, a lot more light will get into the woods and the maple trees will grow and the ash trees will grow. Speaking of ash trees, we do have a couple that are completely dead are going to come down also. There's a group of 3 right here. That's a completely, oops, lost focus. That's a completely dead ash tree. Then we have a beautiful oak. This is the 2 right here that I was laying under last week. But right here, that is another dead ash, and this is the widowmaker. Where is that? Right there. That's a little widowmaker. That's just falling little by little. So those might come down the same day. And then on another visit, we'll be clearing the hill behind the shack there of all the dead trees that are still standing. And they come over each storm. We're losing so many, and we just don't want to lose the shed due to that. So it's going to be a big change here. And I have quite a few photos of what this looked like prior to these self-seeded pine trees growing. The trees will be taken and recycled.
Whoa, oh, oh. La, da, 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 oh, oh. La, da, 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 oh, oh. La, da, da, da. Making our Christmas memories. I've been working so much lately, I can barely find the time to sleep. Yeah, I spend my time running around, keeping people pleased. But this is my favorite hobby.
I'm still having some disbelief of the amount of acorns that fell this year. I have never seen this many fall. I think there's another pile over here. Our whole yard, anywhere near the oak trees, it's treacherous walking. It's almost like walking on marbles. Even out in the paths in the woods where there's some acorn trees, it's a little bit dicey. Everywhere. Not just leaves fell, acorns fell. When I went to the loft to get some things for the Thanksgiving tree, got totally distracted, but this is a good distraction. Every year I pull out the Christmas ornaments. I keep saying I'm going to fix something. One year I fixed the fairies. This year I am determined to fix some ornaments that my aunt and my grandmother made. I just don't know which box they're in. I hope they're one of these 2 boxes. They are sequin and bead ornaments that I have been saving for years. I was given them as a child here and there. And over the years, they've lost sequins, they've lost beads, they've lost pins. So every time I pull them out, I'm like, I'm gonna fix those. Well, I haven't for years and years. This year, I'm determined to. Oh no, I see sand, which means my daughter's sand ornament. Well, it's not that one. I have sand in here. What would that be from? Uh-oh. I thought for sure it was going to be this ornament unless it fell out of the top. No. That's very strange. Very fine sand. Interesting. Well, I wonder if there's another ornament she made and I don't remember that. But I'm hoping it seems to be in this one. There's sand in here too. Huh. I have no idea what this very fine sand is from. All right, well, I know it's not that box. Yeah, that looks like it's from her ornament. There they are. So I have a lot of these ornaments that were made, like this one. I have a piece of wire going around it, and I have all these missing ones. Now, I'm not expecting to find the exact same colors and beads and pins, but if I can find some to maybe even move quite a few around, I'm not sure if I'm in frame here, I can fix this. This one seems to somehow be oh, no, we have one missing here. But I need to find, it looks like green and blues. So that's another. Here is another that's being held by wire I wrapped around. Some are missing. Now these are 60 plus years old. I have some that were probably a kit. I'm gonna guess that was a kit that my aunt to my grandmother made. And then let's see. Some of these are very pretty. This one doesn't look like there's much missing. Very different look on this one. It's using paper and ribbon. Oops, piece of tinsel. I think all of it is here. Very different look though on that compared to the others. What else? I have another blue. Once again, each one has one or two missing sections. Here's another whole different look. I'm just using some tassel and some, once again, sequins and beads. I remember playing with beads like this my childhood. I wonder if they were my grandmother's. Another bell. Once again, I think this was a kit, if I remember correctly, when they told me. And then I have these. And then one with stars. That might be it. And then, of course, there's some crocheted ones. My grandmother used to do a lot of crochet, so she used to do it for the beads too. Oh, and a strawberry. So some of these I've like hidden on the tree in certain areas. Oh, another crocheted beaded one. So some of these have been hidden or turned a certain way or didn't hang right. My goal is to take a photo of these, try to get an idea for color, and then go out and try to find sequins and beads and pins and ways of hanging it with some ribbon and give these a new, fresh look. It's going to be interesting to find this. This is when even going to places that sell vintage items in a bag, I might find some great mismatches for them. So I'm looking forward to doing this, thinking of my grandmother and her making these and then giving them as gifts.